Hey guys, what is going on? Landakian here, and I'm doing a video covering the 1.5 patch notes, not all of them, because as you can see, all of them would be a bit much. So there's the comments, and the patch notes start, one second, they start here. So it has all of this, and that would take me a while to cover all in entirety. So I'm just gonna be doing an overview, basically. So here's some big changes. We have Veteran City of Ash. You guys might remember the normal City of Ash. It was a dungeon engulfed in flames. Now when you go in, it's gonna be a lush forest with wildlife everywhere, and it's gonna look completely different. It's gonna carry on the story, and it's supposed to be very hard, so that looks pretty cool. We then have improved facial animations, so their faces aren't just gonna look like they're just flopping their mouth around and they have no character to them. They're just like a robot, which basically they are. They're a character in a video game. But from what I've seen in the PTS, the facial animation looks very nice. Veteran rank improvements, they're lowering the amount of veteran points. Basically, they're getting rid of veteran points entirely. They're going to be replacing it with experience points, like 1 through 50. It's going to be the exact same, except you're still going to be leveling up through veteran ranks. It's just not going to be veteran points. They're also, it only takes 1,432,550 experience points to gain a veteran rank. Keep that in mind that bosses now drop about, I heard 1,000 experience points, so that's a lot of still a lot of experience points to go. Dungeons will now scale to the group leader's level. This is in the PTS. It's not yet. This will be coming out like in 2 weeks, but they will now scale to the group leader's level. They will not go over veteran rank 12 though. So if your group leader is veteran rank 14, they will not scale up to veteran rank 14. All dungeons except veteran rank City of Ash are now available from veteran rank 1 to veteran rank 12. All veteran dungeons, that is. All dungeons are available up to their level and then to veteran rank 12. So you can do them at, say, Fungal Grotto. It's a level 12 dungeon. You can do it at level 12. It's not going to be like a huge amount, but then you can go back and do it at level 30 and everything will scale, including the gear. Dungeon scale determined on the group leader. Item drops will scale, and there's an example for you. The following group content will now scale: group dungeons and veteran group dungeons, and these will not scale. Delves, Craglorn delves, overland content, public dungeons, and trials. Solo scaling is something if you want to go back and do quests. This does not include public dungeons, delves. This just includes like if you go into a quest area and it tells you to go into a cave, and that cave has a boss in it, and a boss that only you can see, that boss will be scaled up to your level. So that's cool. The following solo count will now scale. Main quest, so fighting Holog Bal at veteran rank 12. That'll be fun. Fighters Guild quest, Mages Guild, Stirk, I'm not sure what that is. Werewolf quest, Vampire quest, Thisrini Arena, Ornary of Eldenroot, Cathedral of the Golden Path, and South Point. So it's not a lot, but it's still pretty cool. Undaunted Enclaves and Pledges. This is a very cool, very cool new addition to the game, and it works very well with scaling content, because basically what it is you go into this place with the Undaunted, and there's going to be 3 chests. There's going to be a bronze, a silver, and a gold chest. The bronze chest is going to drop when you get the key to open it. It's going to give you 1 Grand Soul Gem. It's going to give you it could be 2. It's 1 or 2 gear pieces, and they're going to be greens. They're not going to be blues, are going to be purples, are going to be greens. That's in the bronze chest. You also have a chance of getting a couple of set pieces. One of them is of the Undaunted Bastion. They can be in any item quality, not item quality, but any like it can be in heavy, medium, or light. It can only be in light, not light. It can only be in green if it drops from the bronze chest. So the set piece for that at green, it gives the 5 set piece. It gives you a 1200 damage shield, and you can't get that damage shield until 10 seconds has passed. That's just off of memory. It could be a little bit different. I know it's 1200 at the green level though, and it goes up to 1380 at legendary. There is also a DPS set. I cannot remember at this time, but it increases after using a Magicka attack for 10 seconds afterwards. If you use a heavy attack, it will do 108 plus damage at green level, and 156 plus damage on a light attack. So that's awesome for everyone. Then you have the not bronze chest, but then you have the silver chest. When you go into the silver chest, you're gonna get, from what I've seen, you're gonna get 2, what are they called? Grand Soul Gems. You're gonna get a blue, and it could be a set piece. It does not. It's not guaranteed to be a set piece, but you can get one. And then the purple one, you're gonna get some gold out of this as well. And then the purple one has a chance of dropping the shoulder piece for the mask that you can grab off of dungeon bosses and veteran rank. So here, let me go over this. The main dungeon bosses in a dungeon can now drop their head basically as a helmet slot. I've only seen one of these. It's on my channel. It's called Blacksmithing Survey and the First Mask. I didn't actually get it. You can go check that out if you actually want to see a picture of it. But basically what this is the bosses have a chance of dropping a mask, and we've done two veteran rank dungeons, and with 4 people, only 1 person has gotten a mask, and that was Ops. You might know him from a couple of my past videos, but it doesn't really matter because this is PTS, so it's not real. What am I talking about? This is not about patch notes. Let's get back on track. The masks have like specific abilities that they have a 2-piece set and a 1-piece set. So if you're wearing the mask, his mask just gave 115 plus health for 1 piece, and then his second piece was a 6% chance when struck to steal 600 life from the enemy who struck you, and it's like a beam, so it's going to be casting, and then while that beam is casting, your healing is increased by 30% on you. So it's not like your healing is increased. It's a tank set basically. And then this goes very well with the new Undaunted passives. One passive is for each different piece of armor you wear. So if you wear heavy, medium, or light, if you wear each piece, and then you get a 3% bonus to health, magic, and stamina. And if you put another point into it, you'll get a 6% bonus. And then the other passive is, what was it? Whenever you activate a synergy, you gain 2 or 4% of your max health, magicka, and stamina back. And that will also work like if you have the 6% from what's it called? 6% from the other passive, that will add on. So say you had 100 and now you have 106 because you have the 6%. Other than that, I think that's all with Undaunted. I think most of the main dungeon bosses have, you can only get the masks from veteran rank content. You cannot get them from the normal dungeons. Alright, so then we have crafting certification writs and survey reports. The crafting certification is just like a tutorial, and then every day you're gonna be able to go to a crafting board and pick up a quest, and it's gonna have you do make a lot of gear. It's gonna be about a hundred resource in that craft a day. So far what I've seen, it's not worth it. I've done it for 2 days. I had about 300 crafting materials in each, and I'm already out. I'm already down to like 20 to 30 in each. So from what I've seen, it's not worth it, and I've only gotten one successful survey report, and that one gave me like 40 voidstone ore when it took me about 120 to actually use the voidstone ore, and it gave me two potent nern cruxes. No, three potent nern. No, two potent nern cruxes and three fortified nern cruxes. Um, Nern cruxes. What the fuck? I think that's what it is, but I can't be sure. The new upper Craglorn. What is it called? Um, I'm not prepared for this at all. The new upper Craglorn trait, Nernhone. I think it's called Nerncrux. Yeah. So you might think, well, that's like 20,000. That's like 15 to 20,000 each. 30,000 for the potent. You have to remember, by the time this patch comes out, it's not gonna be that much. It's probably gonna be down to about 5,000. Um, and spending this much on crafting materials, when you go to it, it's not like that's the only thing you're gonna get from it, but it's basically the only thing you're gonna want. So from each other ones I've gotten, it gave me, one of them gave me one grand repair kit, and the other one gave me uh, one diamond. And the diamond's not something you can sell; it's just a trait gem. Uh, Defa did not get as lucky as me. He had two, was it two survey reports, and he only got one uh, Nerncrux trait out of each, out of both of them. It wasn't just like he got one of each; he got one out of both of them. Uh, so, in my opinion, not really worth it unless you're leveling up, because it does give you a hell of a lot of inspiration, which is the level for your crafting. Alright, so then we got a new style, Dwemer. You can get the scrap to make them. It requires 10 scrap, and you can refine them. There you go, that's the word. Refine them into a Dwemer. What is it called? Dwemer. I can't remember it, but it's like a little pipe. It requires 10, and those 10 are pretty damn hard to get. It would probably take about 20 to 30 minutes of farming to get 10. But then the actual pages, from what I've heard, this is up in the air. You can only get them through pots and like other ways to get motifs, but you can only get them in dwarven dungeons. It's just, I've farmed it for over, I think it's 10 hours now, pots and all, and I haven't seen anything. I've only gotten 4 of the actual thing it's required to make them, not remake them. So let's just get out of that. New crafted item set, Twice Born Star. It's the 9 trait set. It's going to give you a 5 set bonus of able to have 2 Mundus stones active. So that's pretty damn cool. It's an upper Craglorn. That's about all for that. It's going to require 9 traits to use. Chat bubbles, I like them very much. They are awesome. I'll have another video showcasing them when it comes out. But as for now, chat bubbles are awesome. They're not like they're not intruding the screen. They're just kind of there, and you can turn them off. They automatically start with them off, but if you go into interface, you can turn them on. You can also change their color. In social, you can change the color of the chat you see in the boxes, and the chat you see over off to the side. And you can even turn them on for yourself, and then you can turn them off for people you don't know. So people who aren't in your guild, or people who are not on your friends list. So I really like them. They're in beta at the moment. Delve updates: Arden Del's Claim, Glenumbra's Crypt Watch, and Stonefall's Emberflint Mine. Those are some delves in the lower questing areas that have been updated, and then the delves found in Alkir Desert, East March, and Malbator are now a lot larger. We went over them last night. They were a good amount larger. So that's about all for the overview, but I'm not done yet. We want to just come through here. This is a lot of bug fixes. We want to find not. We don't want to go through those. We just want to find. Here we go. Weapons. So two-handed stamina base got a buff, and that's what I want to go over. And then we'll go over the werewolf changes, and that'll be all. Carve actually got nerfed. It used to the cleave morph carve used to give 3 ultimate per hit. Now it only gives 2 ultimate per hit. Cleave, it does increased hit damage by 10%, so that was a slight nerf, but again, the carve morph got nerfed. That was a slight buff, sorry, and the carve morph got nerfed. Critical charge reduces damage of this ability by approximately 10%, but then critical rush got a pretty big buff of 68% on depending on how far away from you, depending on how far away from the target you are. Damn, this is getting like my words are getting tied. It's hard to talk for this long. Dizzying Swing, Uppercut Morph. I do not use that one. I use the other one. I can't remember what it's called. Reduces the debuff of 15. Reduces the debuff of this ability to 15% from 20%. The ability now has an increased duration and applies a stun to immune monsters. And the debuff no longer stacks with similar effects such as low slash. Now Uppercut also got a buff of when its damage is increased by 2% and its cast time is reduced by 12%. Forceful is a passive. This passive now applies splash damage to 2 targets instead of 1. Heavy weapons. This passive now causes axes to deal bleed damage over 6 seconds instead of 10. The increased damage per tick, though the total damage dealt remains unchanged. This passive now causes maces to ignore 20% of your target's armor at rank 2. Momentum. This ability gives a flat 20% bonus to power instead of increasing over time. This ability also heals you while it's active. Rally is gonna be your stamina-based heal. They were talking about this on the weekly or bi-weekly stream at twitch.tv/Zenimax Studios or something. You can find it. It happens every other Friday. It's not this week. It's going to be next week. You should totally check it out. It covers a bunch of information, and it's awesome. It goes from 4 to 6 every other Friday. Let's get back into patch notes now. But it's going to be your stamina-based heal. It's going to be very good. I kept myself alive in a public dungeon with about 3 packs on me, with 3 elites in it, and about 12 normal mobs on me just through this. It's awesome, though I was a bit on higher level than it at veteran rank 14. The mobs are veteran rank 5, but it's still really good. It's gonna give the ability now gains an increased value over time instead of healing for a flat value, and it's going to heal over time. The momentum actually got nerfed. It's only going to give you a 20% flat bonus to power. Not great. In live servers at the moment, it gives you like a, I think it's like a 15. No, it's like increased weapon damage by 20, and then it goes up by 2 every 2 seconds. So I don't know. It kind of got a slight nerf. Stampede, critical charge morph. This ability now stares targets by 60% instead of immobilizing them. Oh wait, we missed reverse slice. Reverse slash morph increases the area damage of this ability by approximately 100%. Hit up to 6 targets now. Replace the Arcane Fighter passive with follow-up. This will increase your damage by 5%, 10% for 7 seconds after fully activating a heavy charged. After activating a fully charged heavy attack. So then, dual wield Blind Flurry morph. This ability now gives a 7% off balance chance per hit and increases damage at all ranks instead of increasing the value on rank up. Rapid Strikes. This ability now deals 2% increased damage per hit instead of increasing your attack speed, so that's going to be an awesome buff. Rending Slashes, Twin Slashes Morph. This ability now also increases the initial hit damage by 10%. Twin Blade and Blunt. The Axe Bleed now deals, it's the same one up, and the Two-hander, it's just they reduce the what is it called? They reduce the time it's on the target, but increase the damage. So, and Mace has now caused you to ignore 20% of your target's armor. So the same thing. Twin Slashes. This ability no longer gives you a speed bonus when activated with an enemy target when the enemy target is out of range. Increases the tick damage for the ability by approximately 10%. The morph of this ability now increases in damage as the ability is ranked up. The bow got a huge buff to snipe. Acid spray, arrow spray morph. That kind of got me tied there. This ability now determines critical strikes based on weapon critical instead of spell critical rating. So that's a fix. Arrow spray fixed the issue where hitting a target with this ability wasn't removing the target's stealth effect. We also increased the area of effect arc to better match the size of the effect, so it got a buff and a bug fix. Bombard, Arrow Spray Morph. This ability now applies a snare after the immobilize ends. Focused aim, Snipe Morph. Snipe, huge buff. The damage bonus from this ability now only applies to bow attacks. We also fixed an issue where the passive wasn't applying heavy attacks. Where the passive wasn't applying to heavy attacks. Hawkeye, this passive now has a unique icon, so that's pretty cool. Poison Arrow increases damage over time by this ability by 30%. Poison Injection, Poison Arrow Morph. The ability now starts dealing bonus damage to targets under 50% health instead of 35. That's probably because no one was using it, because if they did, they'd have no way of taking a mob and stopping it from casting something. Snipe, here's the buff. Reduces cast time by 40%. It used to be 2.1 seconds to cast, it's now 1.1. Reduce the damage done by this ability by only 5%. That's a small price to pay for a 40% drop in cast time. And remove the minimum range of this ability. This can be used at right up on your target. So this is an awesome ability now. I went around, it's in a video. It's really cool. You can cast one at the max range before one hits the target. Volley, the ability now deals a damage for 5 seconds instead of 3. We also increase the damage per tick by 20%. Those are just bug fixes there. One-handed shield. Absorb, defensive posture morph. This ability now absorbs 100% of health damage. 100%. Oh my gosh! This ability now absorbs 100% of damage caused and also heals 50% of your max health. Battlefield mobility increases this ability's speed bonus by 25% to 50% to 30%, from 25% to 50% to 30% to 60%. Crippling slash, low slash morph. This ability now adds 5% ultimate, not 5%, 5 ultimate on hit. Deep slash. This ability now hits up to 3 enemies. Defensive stance. This ability now stuns your target for 3 seconds at all ranks. Low slash. This ability now reduces the enemy damage by 15%. Power slam. This ability now increases the stun duration on rank up instead of disorient duration. Puncture reduces the cost of this ability by approximately 30%. Ransack. This ability now provides armor if used while blocking. Reverberating bash. This ability now reduces healing taken by 40% for 8 seconds. This effect applies when oh my gosh. This effect applies even if your target is stun immune. Shield assault increases the damage shield duration to 6 seconds from 4 seconds. We also fixed an issue where this ability was not refreshing the value of the damage shield when the ability was recast. Light armor annulment fixed an issue. Alright, those are just bug fixes. Except for the harness magicka, this ability can now only restore magic up to 3 times per cast. Alright, so this is the last thing we're going to go over. It's werewolf changes. So here we go. Hircine's Bounty. This is a new werewolf ability. I they gave us Werewolf on the PTS. I've been able to test these out. It works quite well. This ability is a large heal that costs Magicka. It heals for about 500 health. It is very good. Piercing Howl, this ability deals high damage and stuns your enemies. Infectious Claws, this ability instantly deals damage to 3 targets in front of you and causes disease damage over time. Negative effects such as Disorient will no longer affect you while transforming, and you will no longer lose your built-up ultimate as a result. All Werewolf light attacks will now cause bleed damage. Fully charged heavy attacks will now restore stamina. Werewolf tooltip now includes a bleed damage that light attacks deal. Devouring enemies will no longer display a blinking texture. Fixed an issue where CC break wasn't working for werewolves. Blood Rage's passive now restores 3 out of 3 to 6 ultimate instead of 2 to 5. Brutal Pounce. This ability deals 50% of the initial damage to nearby enemies. Devour. This ability can now be used on additional monster types such as insects and for some reason Dwarven constructs, because who doesn't like a nice bite of metal in their mouth. This ability's cooldown period has been reduced from 20 seconds to 7 seconds. This ability will no longer be interrupted by taking damage. Feral Pounce. This ability only increases the werewolf's duration if you are 10 meters away from your target. Pack Leader, this ability's tooltip now specifies the amount of ultimate you gain. This is now a flat value that only works for werewolves. Pounce, this ability now deals more damage and can be cast while silenced. Pursuit, this passive now increases stamina gained from heavy attacks. Roar, fixed an issue where the ability did not cost resources if it didn't hit any targets. Werewolf Berserker, this ability will now deal increased bleed damage instead of increased attack speed. Werewolf Transformation, fixed an issue where killing an enemy while feared by this ability would cause the corpse to teleport forward a few meters. This ability also no longer plays ability damage. Sorry, like my throat hurts from talking. This ability also no longer claims ability damage is derived from just stamina. That seems a bit strange. And last but not least, having a werewolf skill line now increases your stamina regeneration by 15% in both human and werewolf forms. You do not need to have werewolf ability on your skill bar. Alright guys, there will be a link in the description if you want to check all this out. It's a lot. So if you've watched this far, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.